I'm going to sit over on your side. So we're going to pretend we're setting up our sterile platform. So you have your sterile Hamilton syringes, and always double check that the plunger slides properly. Believe it or not, even the same ones you'll have problems. Okay, so here is your plunger, and this is actually ideally you want them longer. So
yes.
I think I'm gonna run upstairs and get the longer ones.
Yeah, because the ones we have that are like significantly shorter
than this.
So ours are like 15 centimeters. Now we're gonna try 20 because I think that was one of the problems.
Or 25.
Yeah, because you can slow down the.
No big deal. 25 is fine. I'm gonna run upstairs and get. What you do is just be careful how you're handling your very sterile intrathecals. So these guys, both Clara and Noah made, and I'd say that's about a good length.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
is that as long? Let's see if it's long. As long.
Yeah, that was shorter.
They're the same.
They're an inch shorter. It's an inch. So let me get this. That one's a little longer. So the longer the better.
Okay.
And then this one I should put in here, not back in the sterile. Okay, so these are practice. It's okay to practice. I practiced with these a lot. But the thing is that the needle tip will get dull, so then you have to reinsert after a couple of months, just so you don't drive yourself nuts. Now the other thing that's really helpful is this is so much like the rat. Is you'll notice that on the tip here, there's a mark. That mark delineates the bevel portion of where the bevel part of the needle is
that's
up.
so smart.
So what I learned is you don't get a good placement. It doesn't flow properly if the bevel tip is placed facing down.
Yeah.
It has to be facing up so that when you get a placement and you push, it flows.
Yeah.
So that's super important.
And maybe that's why some of our needles were in.
I know.
And we
That's
just
why
kept
some of
changing.
mine didn't.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
that's why. And we were like, we just have to change it.
Okay, so then put these reading glasses on. Okay, so then you do this for everyone. So you want to fill your syringe with water. Always use water. Don't use saline.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys know why. And then, so the first thing you'll do is you'll fill your Hamilton syringe first. And you don't want air bubbles. You want to be conscientious about what you're handling. So you don't want that bad air bubble in there. So you push that out. And then you'll fill up your syringe like you do. So this needle fits in well in a 10 microliter Hamilton syringe. Flush it as you're flushing withdraw. Hold it parallel. Pick it up like this. If you move it perpendicular,
You're gonna get a bubble.
you get bubbles and forget about it.
That's what was happening.
So then, when you lay this down, don't lay it down on here because the
That's sterile.
material actually absorbs the water and will pull the water out of the syringe so you'll get a bubble. So lean this on the edge so that you don't have it absorbing. This doesn't absorb.
Okay.
And then you and don't do that. Then you recap this. And then, so you want to do this. Then here, you just have to make sure that you flush your PE 10 so that it's happy. Your glasses are. Okay, so you hold it up to the light to make sure that you don't see anything. then as you detach the hub from the syringe, I twist it, I continue to pull, twisting gently
Oh, so you have
to
like
create a crown.
Oh.
And then, with this parallel, and this like this, you attach them. So now you have a completely
Full circle.
bubble-free Hamilton syringe. Now the part that people don't get, but it's really important, is you're going to end up flushing all of this out.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're doing is everything in the hub.
It's
and
closed, no
is-
bubbles.
there aren't any bubbles, and it's really important.
Yeah.
And you have to do this every single time
Mhm.
you do an injection. So you flush it all the way out. You're going to have a bubble here. Flick that off, and then drop 1 microliter air bubble. This is a 10 microliter Hamilton syringe, so you're going to draw it to 1. And that you should see just the beginning.
Of the air. Yeah, you can see a little air bubble there.
You can.
I saw it.
Yep, you're
Yep,
right.
there it is.
So I went past 1. I'm like at 1.1.
Okay.
So then let's say you want to inject 5 microliters of drug. So then you go to 6.1.
Yeah.
And I'm doing 5 microliter injections so we can see how far it actually travels. And then you have to make sure your needle is all the way in, and then you just have to make sure that you get this right. So you should see an air bubble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like water air bubble drug.
Yeah, I see an air bubble there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that, but I'm not going to correct for it.
Okay.
Hi, Shahani.
But you do want to see like the air bubble here,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the important.
Yeah, you don't want to see this.
Yeah, that little
That
one.
shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
But this one you want, and the reason is because it'll separate
Yeah, from your
all of
liquid.
your water from here. If you didn't, this would get
It makes-
diluted.
yeah.
And that means,
You contaminate your entire.
well, it's not contamination as much because you're working with sterile water. It's that you're diluting your dose.
So you're, yeah.
So you're actually delivering some
Less.
amount of drug in a total of
Considerably
all
less.
of this
Yeah.
plus this, and you're only, yeah. So it's probably diluting it significantly. So then what I do is I leave it in here because if you take this out,
You'll
it
get a
takes
bubble.
time. Right. Good. So it looks like we're set here. So now let's put our little mousey
Okay.
in. I should put my cap on. Yeah, this nose cone adoption is so much better than just sticking it in around too. I'm gonna get a cap.
Yeah, how it all figures.
Okay. We don't
And then you-
turn up the vibration.
I think there's.
So for the little hairs, put that down and then you just shave with it.
Like it's like.
Remove the hair. There we go. You can see now what we're doing. And I usually take, is it a gauze or I'm sorry, like a container.
Questions over there.
There, just use the trash can. Okay, so then, okay, and then I'll wet her again, because you want it nice and clean, but you don't need a lot. So it's just like getting an injection in your arm. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. I'll use this. Okay, so what I'm doing now, between this finger and this finger, is I'm holding her little hips, and his hips, a mouse's hips. And I draw this imaginary line in between like this. and I verify that that's with my nail, that I'm actually between L5, L6. I think I am. So it's about right here where I want to go. So I press a little bit to make an indentation to help orient me. And you have to make sure the skin, notice how I'm trying to hold the skin tight. And I double check, I should feel the dorsal spinatus process. Yes, so there's a nice big one here. So I really want to go here. Now the other part of this equation, I think we can turn it down to 2.5 again. And the oxygen is at 2? Okay. So the other part of this is that you have to imagine a perfectly straight spinal cord. So this is, and it needs to line up. So one thing I was learning is I need to give myself the elbow room. I'm holding her like this. You can see the spinal cord, right? You can imagine it right here. So that's going to be your center. If you narrow it, essentially, you see where the tip of this is?
Yeah.
That's where my tip needs to go eventually. But where I start
Is that your line?
will probably be right here.
Okay.
I'm going to hit bone, and then I'll go back in again, and on an angle, I'm going to go in like this. And when I do that, I should see a tail flick. So that's, and the only way you're going to get there is if you just practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's part A. So now I'm going to bring my drug and everything over and pretend that didn't happen. Okay, and then this part is really important, I learned. So, there it is. So the other thing that you want to do, normally you don't do this when you're injecting drug, right? But I'm going to wipe the blue stuff off so I don't get it all over my hands when I'm trying to identify the marking. So can you see the marking?
Yeah, so the bevel is going to be.
So the beveled side is up. If you don't have the beveled side up, you won't get it.
Yeah, that's what.
And so I'm twisting this. So when I'm twisting on this side, I have to turn it here because it's really awkward. Okay, now I go back again, try to find where I'm supposed to be, get my bearings. I'm going to go right here eventually. But I'm going to start behind and slightly offside. Can anyone see the tail?
I'm looking at it.
Going in.
Ah, there you go.
No.
Near the area.
No. So can you tell how I was able to know I wasn't in? The needle was moving forward too much.
Yeah. It's like there's almost like a lock, like a key. It's like it's just over.
I think it feels like popping a balloon.
Yeah. Like it's like a dimple.
And I might be slightly too forward. And
I think
maybe
it's
on-
like a little bit.
So this twists a lot. Messing me up. Okay, let's try it again.
And are you going
It's about right here. We call it the floating rib. And so that's the most common portion. So your lumbosacral enlargement is going to be about right here, which is quite a bit. So it's going to be a 4, 5, 6, and then you'll have sacral, and then you'll have your caudate equina. So it's quite removed from where you're actually injecting, but your DRGs are right there, right by your injection site. So it's really impossible. Yeah, we got it, girls. Ladies, we got it.
Yeah, I see it.
See it?
Yeah, the color change right there.
It's, and I'm gonna have you look under the this microscope. If you guys are able to do dissections without using this, more power to you. I don't know how you can, but you can. So we know we got it. And I use these toothed forceps
So like break both.
to hold. And then this part I use to kind of cut back. And it's striking how high this goes. That was 5 micrometers.
Yeah.
Damn. Is it more on this side or both sides?
So, it's amazing.
So technically your DRGs should also be blue, right?
No,
Because spinal. DRGs are going to be
But if they're like
tucked away.
those two lines.
it's a good question. It turns